Sonny Gray spins a masterpiece in the Cardinals' win over the Cleveland Guardians. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. Follow me on X at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We're on YouTube as well as TikTok and Instagram. You can find us at Locked On Cardinals. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB. That'll get you $20 off your first purchase. So, joining us tonight is Thomas Gauvain from RedbirdRants.com. Before we get into the stuff that Sonny Gray did tonight, how is your summer going so far, and have you been sunburnt?
Yeah, I got sunburnt like the first or second day.
Attaboy.
Yeah, went out to the pool with my kids, and I hit like 85 for the first time, got sunburnt. Since then, I've been pretty clear, but I haven't been sitting at the pool but one or two other times, so I've been playing it safe.
All right, good for you. It's good to have you back. And what a night to talk some Cardinal baseball, Thomas, because
Yes.
Sonny Gray just threw one of the best games you might ever see. It's certainly one that one of the better games that we've seen a Cardinal pitcher throw in recent memory. In case you missed it, Sonny Gray, a masterpiece tonight. Complete game shutout on 89 pitches. He gives up one hit. He strikes out 11, and the Cardinals 5-0 win over the Cleveland Guardians. In baseball, we call this the Maddox, don't we, Thomas? Where you get a complete game shutout, and you can do it under 100 pitches, named after one of my favorite pitchers of all time, Greg Maddux, because he's one of those guys that just wasn't a big guy. He could just do it. He was just really, really good. 13 of those, by the way, in his storied career, which is insane. But what a freaking game for Sonny Gray tonight. And it was just impressive all around. According to Sarah Lang, Sonny's 89 pitches, the fewest since Adam Wainwright did it. Did you know that, Thomas?
I did not. I think we should just make up a new term and call anything under 90 pitches, complete game shutout, 10 or more strikeouts, a Gray from now on.
Okay, I'm on board with that. We can start doing that. Not going to happen very often.
No, that's true. Yeah, he does have a 13 like Maddox did, but that's all right.
Yeah, it's very rare. Adam Wainwright pulled a Maddox off in 88 pitches back on August 11, 2021 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Waino allowed 2 hits. He struck out 7 in that game. He was also 2 for 4 at the plate with a ground rule double and an RBI single. Yeah, if you guys remember way back in 2021, that's when pitchers were still allowed to hit and swing the bat.
Back in the day.
Back in the old days when it was black and white TVs. So I ask you, Thomas, whose game was better considering the offensive side of Adam Wainwright being a part of the complete game? Who you taking?
I'm going to have to go with Sonny Gray still. I need to go back and look at the score of that game to see if Waino's hits actually made that much of a difference. But Gray was just dominant all throughout the night.
The score.
I don't know. So they didn't need Wainwright to hit that well.
And he would have had 2 RBIs because the ground rule double, there was a runner on and they had to stop him at third base.
Yeah, okay.
So
I don't know. I'll give it to Gray.
There's no wrong answer. They're both awesome, but I think what made Sonny special was the 11 strikeouts, right? They have 89 pitches and to strike out 11. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Even if he had 11 immaculate strikeouts, like that's still 33 pitches that he threw. Oh, that's a third of, So the fact that he kept it down to the lowest pitch count is crazy.
Yeah, that's just something you don't see anymore. Full count, only did it once, and it was the last batter of the game. You just don't see that very often, man. This guy was just locked in, and they talked to him after the game, which I thought was really cool that he made sure Pedro Paz was in the interview with him afterwards because of how important he was to throwing a game as good as this was. But he talked about how aggressive Cleveland was at the plate tonight. And he's like, obviously that helped us out. They were trying not to fall behind in the count and get to a 2-strike count. So they were swinging at a lot of first pitches. And I think, if I remember them saying it correctly, I think there was at least 6 of them where the Guardians were swinging at the first pitch and made it out. So that obviously helps you out when they are that aggressive and they're not actually getting hits off of you. So that was pretty cool. But what were some of your takeaways from tonight's victory over Cleveland when it comes to the pitching side of things with Sonny and Pedro?
Yeah, his sweeper was on. He had 10 whiffs on 15 swings, 67% whiff rate there on the sweeper. None of his pitches were extremely overpowering. I think he topped out at like 94 with his sinker. His fastball sat around 92 and a half. But he was just dotting things up. Like you said, Cleveland batters were swinging early and often at his pitches. He got to those 2 strike counts, limited his balls. It was, I think he had something like 21 or 22 first pitch strikes out of the 28 batters that he faced.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's utterly dominant everywhere you look. His sweeper is probably the most impressive part with those whiffs.
Yeah, they asked him about that too. They asked Pedro about it. They were like, is it tough not to call that pitch every time? And he's like, well, I mean, obviously you got to mix it up. But yeah, that thing was awesome.
I think that was the pitch that Nolan Jones got the hit on. It was a sweeper, I think. Let me check.
And you know what Sonny said too, that was the only pitch that he actually like said no, like shook off Pedro. Got the hit, so he was like, I'll just stick with it. It was very Bull Durham type of moment because that's what happens in the movie where he's like, this guy's shaking me off. He's throwing a shutout and he's shaking me off. And so he tells the batter what's coming, but I'm guessing Pedro didn't do that. But
I doubt it was
just so impressive. And like I'm watching the game and they kept showing the sky, and I'm like, why do they keep showing the sky? And I'm like, oh my God, it's still daylight out because of how quick
2 hours
is going in this game. Like there was just no wasted time, in and out of the dugouts, and Sonny doing what Sonny does. So really cool to watch. Offensively, the Cardinals got busy in that third inning with that rocket home run from Pedro Pages, 112 off the bat to make it 1-0. Alec Burleson continued his onslaught here in the month of June with a 2-run homer to right. That makes it 3-0. And then the old man, Nolan Arenado, had 2 2-out RBI hits. One was a double, one was a single. And that's all the offense the Cardinals needed because of how good Sonny Gray was. Alec Burleson, real quick, has been something just special this month. What are your thoughts on what you've seen from Alec Burleson so far here in the month of June?
Yeah, he's brought the power that we need. Is he up to 11 home runs now? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially from the left side, you see primarily right-handed pitchers and all that, but he's been balanced against lefties too. His average has pretty much been there for his whole career as far as an above league average batting average goes. But now he's starting to get some of the power stroke against the lefties as well. It's been nice, especially with Ivan Herrera out for a while now. And Jordan Walker too, who was supposed to be a power bat. But
yeah, for sure. Like he's just been something else. And you can't get him out of the lineup, but now you really can't get him out of the lineup because now he's a Gold Glover, apparently. Apparently he's going to make sliding catches. He's going to dive into the netting. He's going to make them on the run. He's got it all now. 5-tool player now, and Alec Burleson. He's hitting infield singles tonight. I think they give him an air, but you see him hustling down the line. It's good to see. Everything about Alec Burleson is what you want in a Cardinal player. Absolutely.
I think it was Josh Jacobs said that whatever John Jay's getting paid this year is not nearly enough, so he needs a pay raise between this year and next year.
Yeah, turning things around for the guys who were considered defensively challenged coming into the year. Jordan Walker obviously made some strides too. We're going to get back to the pitching side of things for our next segment because I don't know if you've noticed, but there are some really good young arms in the NL Central right now, which begs the question, who is the Cardinals' future ace that is going to match up with all these dudes? So we're going to get into that coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Have you ever decided at the last minute to, you know what, I'm going to head down to the ball game with your friends, with your family? Hey, you can go by yourself. There's no shame in going to a ball game and just getting away from everybody and just enjoying a day at the ballpark. Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you just want to be in the stands. Well, that's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on things like more food, more drinks, more merchandise, or heck, you can invite a bigger group to come with you if you want them around you, and Gametime can make it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app, they actually go down. They drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat view so you know what you're getting into, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, making it easy to browse the app for any exciting upcoming MLB game. Cardinals are going to be on the road for a little bit in Cleveland this weekend. They're going to head to Pittsburgh after that. Then, of course, they go to Wrigley to face those Cubbies again. And if you want to be there, then Gametime is the best way to get your tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on X anytime you want. We always like that feedback from you. Thomas Gauvain from RedbirdRanch.com with us, marveling over another great performance by Sonny Gray, who is now 8-2 on the season. The ERA 3.36, 101 strikeouts, and 93 2/3 innings. He is the Cardinals' number one right now. People get mad at me when I use the word ace. Fine. He's still the number one guy in this rotation. And it's really kind of a bummer, like when you look back on things, that he wasn't in line to pitch against the Cubs in this last series at Busch Stadium because he's so good at home. And, of course, you want him against the better teams. I'd rather see him pitching against a division rival than, an interleague game against Cleveland. But I think he is in line to throw against them on the 4th of July, if my math was right. But obviously things can change between now and then. But there are some really good young arms coming up in the NL Central right now. The Reds have a trio, really. They got Chase Burns, Hunter Green, along with Andrew Abbott, who looks 35, but he's actually 26. The Brewers got the new guy, Jacob Misiorowski, who's taken the league by storm, and his first major league appearance against the Cardinals looked awesome. The Brewers also have Peralta. The Pirates got Paul Skeens. Cubs got Imanaga, although he's not exactly young per se, but you know what I'm getting at. What do the Cardinals got? That's the real question. People want to know who is going to be the ace of this team moving forward because, as we all know, Sonny Gray's contract is going to be up here in a couple years, and he ain't getting any younger, so things are going to end up probably declining at some point. So where do the Cardinals go from there? You did a write-up on this at RedbirdRanch.com. So what are some of the things that you brought up in your article about the future aces of the rotation in St. Louis?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the three young guys, Skeens, Misiorowski, and Chase Burns, and what do they do really well? They strike batters out. That's what it comes down to, and the Cardinals haven't had that in quite some time. So you look at our minor leagues, and the bar that I set was 10 Ks per 9 innings. Tin Kent's, Quinn Matthews, and Takeo Roby all break that pretty well as far as their minor league careers go. Can they continue that in the majors? That's the question that needs to be answered. I don't think that any one of those three is Paul Skeens. In fact, I probably know that not one of those three is Paul Skeens. But just to have that strikeout stuff, so we're not getting into this pitch to contact mumbo jumbo that we've been seeing out of our starting pitchers. I don't think that we will see Paul Skeens, Jacob Misiorowski, or even Chase Burns out of our rotation or our pipeline for the next few years. But just to have a guy that's close to that. Matthew Liberatore has a chance. Sonny Gray might be that right now, but we only have him for another year or two. I just don't think Liberatore is the ceiling of those guys in the National League Central or our prospects coming up.
Yeah, he doesn't come off as the guy that's going to hit double-digit strikeouts in a game. That's just not who he is. Like, he's going to be a good pitcher, and we've seen him look really, really good at times. But the swing and miss thing, that's one of the reasons why the Cardinals are kind of redoing things in the minor leagues, because what their philosophy used to be, it wore out and they just never changed. And, the league passed them by in certain things. And one of those was finding swing and miss, because you're seeing it out of bullpen guys too. Like, there's nobody in the bullpen that's coming up anytime soon that's like, rifling through people with a ton of swing and miss, like that's why you're seeing guys like Andre Granillo and Riley O'Brien and these guys that they're not top 100 prospects. They're barely top 30 in the Cardinal system. And those are the guys that are on the team right now. So it's part of the thing that they're going to be redoing and looking for in like the upcoming drafts. And obviously in future trades, probably they're going to look for young arms that actually have a little more swing and miss. You mentioned Takeo Roby. This guy's having a hell of a season down there at AA right now. How excited are you about what Takeo Roby brings to the table? Actually, he's in AAA now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is. He's struggled a little bit in AAA, but the ball is different. from Double A. It's a talent level is much higher between Double A and Triple A. Everything I hear about Takeo Roby is that he's the guy. Like his strikeout, his fastball, everything's there. He has multiple plus pitches between his fastball and then what's the best pitch? Sorry, his curveball is crazy as well. It's got high whiff rates and everything. From what I've been hearing, it's Takeo Roby as the next best pitcher on the staff. The question for him is health still.
Yeah, that's what all of them have been dealing with. When you mentioned Teen Kent's injuries, he's been on the IL a lot. Quinn Matthews went through some stuff earlier this year, and there's been times that he's looked good, but he's had a lot. There's been a little bit of a bump in the road so far this season. And then Roby, until this year, that was the big thing, was the injuries. It was really cool to be able to see him this spring training for the first time, to really get to pay attention to him, and like, whoa. You were like, wait a second. We got it. He's throwing 99. Where'd this come from? All right. Okay. This is good. Yeah. So, he looks like a hoss, like somebody that could do some things for us. And then, of course, you got more like the old school Cardinals philosophy with Michael McGreevy. He's not a big strikeout guy, but, when he's hitting his spots, clearly he's had a lot of success at the major leagues already. Things didn't go quite so well for him against the Cubs, but it was really one bad pitch to Suzuki that made everything look really ugly in that game. Outside of that, it wasn't as bad as I think the final box score tells everybody. But they'll figure something out. That's why they're changing things up. So looking forward to the future with those guys: Libby, McGreevy, Matthews, Roby, Hentz. Some big names to watch for the Cardinals in the future. Mentioned the offense of the Cardinals tonight and what they did to score runs, a couple of home runs. And I talked about this a bit on my last episode, the Cardinals and their issues with hitting left-handed pitching. We're going to discuss that more and pick the brain of Gauvain coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And when we say every night, it is every night, 7 days a week. There are no off days for this, and they'll be back on there here in a little bit. So be sure to check that out. All right, time to pick the brain of Gauvain. Here we go. We need to get a T-shirt with just your brain right there, and like your glasses and a beard, your glasses and a beard on it. That would be cool.
Okay, a little toothpick on the top too, just to really fit with the name.
There you go. I like it a lot. Let's do that. I'm gonna come up with a photo or something. We'll put that together. Issues against left-handers, Thomas. Another lefty came in on Friday night, and guess what? The Cardinals, again, do nothing against him. That's, if my math is correct once again, which I never trust, but I'm close usually. I think that's almost 24 straight shutout innings against left-handers for the Cardinals. What are you seeing here about these struggles against the left-handers? What's going on with these guys?
Just looking at the raw numbers, the Cardinals, before games today, the Cardinals had the most plate appearances against left-handed pitchers. So clearly the word's out that we can't handle them. As far as hitting goes, they are right about league average against lefties in batting average, and on base percentage. Where they fall short is slugging percentage. Before tonight, where they faced a couple lefty relievers, I believe, they were 21st in slugging percentage in the league against left-handed pitchers. When you have as many prominent left-handed batters as you do, Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson, Nolan Gorman, when you have all those guys and at the heart of your lineup, of course you're going to fall short against left-handed pitchers. And the problem is now twofold. One, injuries. Ivan Herrera has almost an 1150 OPS against lefties. And then Jordan Walker's out, who is supposed to be your key right-handed batter.
Yeah, and a guy that actually hasn't been, at least when I looked at him earlier today, Wilson Contreras doesn't really kill lefties like I thought he did.
No, and neither does Mason Wynn either. Like right-handed hitters, you'd think, especially Contreras with his power, but Mason Wynn doesn't really do it either.
Yeah, it's a little shocking to me. I think Arenado's got some pretty decent numbers, but it falls off quick after Ivan Herrera. Like the dip in production from some of these guys it's crazy. Like if you go there and you take away like the qualified hitters, like it's Pozo and Lucan Baker is still up there for the Cardinals, but it's none of the dudes who are actually on this team, really. And Ivan Herrera is the one regular guy that's around that is still that has the tremendous numbers. So losing him again is, this is going to be another month for this guy. So that's 2 months of the season that you're going to be out with this dude. Obviously, that's going to be something that the Cardinals need to look at and fix. Problem is, because I was getting questions from people like, who's somebody in the minors we can bring up? And I'm like, nobody.
Yeah,
There's really not a lot of answers down there. They brought up Sajasi, who right-handed batter, would do okay against him, and he was hitting okay, but was 0 in the Cubs series, so that didn't work out so well. So hopefully somebody can step up soon. I really, the guy that I want to see do more is Contreras, really, against left-handers. That's it's shocking to me how low his production's been against them so far this year. One of the moves they made, Thomas, was the Garrett Hampson in, Jose Barrero out. Barrero did not get claimed. I think he's back in Memphis now. I think that was an official transaction.
I think I just saw something about it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it really quickly. He was designated for assignment. He cleared waivers and then rejected his assignment. He's now a free agent. There's been word that a Japan team is looking for him.
Oh, okay. So Barrero is gone from the system now. Your thoughts on that move? Because it kind of caught me off guard, unless there was something behind the scenes where Barrero was like, I want to play, because he wasn't ever, hardly at all. So unless he was like that, I don't understand it all that much of what Garrett Hampson brings you over what Barrero is bringing you. But what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a little bit like shuffling deck chairs in the Titanic. For the most, we're talking about the 26th man on the roster here. It shouldn't affect the team too much, but it is interesting. I think the reason they went for Hampson primarily is he has a true ability to play center field. He still has the speed. His defense is probably a little bit better out there than Barrero's was, so now you have more sound right-handed fourth outfielder in Hampson. I wrote about him in the offseason way back in January about being a 26th man for the team. His offensive numbers are putrid. I wouldn't recommend you look at them for his career.
Yeah,
but it's his versatility. He can play literally anywhere except for probably catcher on the field, and he can play it well. So that might be the key. Whereas Barrero was pretty pigeonholed to shortstop and center field.
All right. I guess this means I guess Hampson can play shortstop, but I guess is he the backup shortstop now too? I guess that's where they're
probably.
with this. I know
Brandon Crawford. Let's bring Brandon Crawford back.
Where is BC? That's basically what you get. You get a guy who just cannot hit at this point in his career, and you're sticking him on the roster. I don't get it. I would rather have Jose Barrero and his potential, the youth of him and all, and teach him. I don't recall him killing us in the infield or the outfield with his defense. It wasn't great, but I don't know. It just was like, what? We're doing that? What? I don't know. I didn't like it so much, but like you said, we're arguing about the 26th man on the roster. It shouldn't be affecting my world as much as it does. I need help. All right, we're a month away from the deadline. Cardinals are 3.5 back in the division. Cubs lost to the Astros tonight, half game out of the wild card. If they are in this exact same spot at the deadline in a month, are you buying or selling? And if you're buying, what are you shopping for?
Boy, how much freedom do I get?
We're not spending any money, Thomas. You cannot spend dollars.
I'm holding, honestly. I think there's a way you can maneuver the roster to make it better. That could look like moving Eric Fetty, maybe Miles Michaelis if A, someone wants him, B, he'll waive his no trade clause.
People might want Michaelis over Fetty at this point when you're looking at
they might. Yeah, they really might. I think moving some of the junk out to make space for a young guy, so then you might get more competitive. I think McGreevy's probably better than both Fetty and Michaelis, and you lean into that youth movement more. I wouldn't do any splashes where you're trading to Roby or Quinn Matthews or JJ Weather. I wouldn't do any of those trades.
No.
Maybe like a 15 to 20 prospect, but that's not going to get you anything serviceable for the major league roster. That'll get you a Garrett Hampson probably. So I think there's a way in which trades can be made where you clear out some of the junk and you make room for the young guys to come up and hopefully play better than those old guys.
Obviously, Michaelis would have to, waive his no trade clause, or he's not going anywhere. So I don't even know if that's something he's even interested in to do. But Fetty has no say. So if they can get something for him at this deadline, I think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to hold back on that one because I think you slide, like you said, McGreevy slides right in and takes over that spot. I think Steven Matz is still a guy that people would be interested in as a left-handed either reliever or a back of the rotation starter. And then, of course, there's Helsley, who his value is probably much lower at this point because he's not nearly as I don't want to say productive. He's just so much more hittable this year.
His strikeouts are down. His fastball's getting rocked. He hasn't looked the same as even last year. I know he hit the save record, but his numbers, especially his strikeouts, were down overall.
Yeah, that's when I get those tweets from people and they're like, man, he just gives up so many hits. I'm like, you remember last year, right? He had all those saves, but like it wasn't easy all the time.
Right.
But it was, I feel like it was a little bit easier last year than what we're seeing this year. Like he cannot get through an inning clean. There's just always some sort of drama, a walk, a hit. There's just something that always tends to happen against him, which is what you're not looking for when you're looking for a closer to shut things down. So, All right, what are some things you're working on here at redbirdrans.com in the future, buddy?
I had that piece we talked about with the National League Central Aces. I had one about Cardinals versus Cubs, like all-time players at every position. The John Boy Media people talked about that, so I broke it down. And then I had one go out tonight about Gray's masterful outing.
Yes, it was awesome. Go read it. Go check out Thomas's work and all the guys over and gals at redbirdrans.com. And you'll enjoy it. I promise you that. It's good, clean fun for the whole family. And when's it ever a bad time to talk Cardinal baseball? Never. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Follow Thomas at Thomas Gauvain as well. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram. We're on YouTube as well. You guys are the best fans of baseball for a reason, and we will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals. Thomas, thank you as always for stopping by, brother.
Thanks for having me, JD.